Hello, everybody, and welcome to another One Stop Wrestling podcast. I'm Alex, and I'm joined this week by the perfect pair of podcasters, Rohit and Alfonso. Rohit, how are you this evening?
I'm good, thank you. And how's everyone else? Hope everyone's doing good.
Very
And I
well,
feel,
very
yeah,
well,
good.
thank you. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
Alfonso, how are you doing this evening?
All good, all happy, all ready for Mania. I think we're having a very interesting time. Also, Sasha Banks confirmed to AEW.
Not officially
And
confirmed, but it pretty much looks that way,
yeah,
doesn't it?
big business.
Yeah, in
Mhm.
Or
Boston.
is or do you think is a big show pay-per-view?
It's going to be Sasha Banks, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I
And
mean,
I don't
double
I,
debut. Okada has a gimmick of money as well,
who knows? Imagine
potentially.
if Okada appears against Dragunov in NXT,
You
maybe.
don't know. You don't
There's
know.
there's lots going on in wrestling at the moment. There's obviously big headlines with the WrestleMania main event that we are hoping to do a big podcast on tomorrow. But for today, we are going to concentrate on the icon Sting. Um,
Sting!
This
Woo!
is Sting.
as we know, it's the Stinger's last match coming up at AEW Revolution at the start of March. 64 years old. He's had an
Yeah.
amazing career. 30 plus years really at the top of the game. Started off in WCW when he first made his name.
WCW.
Yeah, multiple time world champion there. Then
Mhm.
they folded. You thought, will he go to WWE? He didn't. He signed with TNA and had a great run there. Finally came to WWE in 2014, and well, it was a short run. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And then he made the shock signing with AEW back in 2020. So, I mean, amazing to think that he's still going strong at 64, flying off ladders and jumping off stages and doing all sorts, really.
Mhm.
Um, and Sting and Darby Allin are the new AEW Tag Team Champions, and they will defend against the Young Bucks at Revolution in Sting's last ever match. So we're just going to have a discussion about his career, the great moments, and what we think of Sting as a whole. What's his legacy? So, Rohit, let's start with you. I mean, what immediately comes to mind when you think of the career of Sting?
I mean, like I said, great character, evolving his character, adding little nuances, good in the ring, like you can't really fault him. And yeah, in terms of moments, it's just so many moments. But I think one of my favorites was in TNA was his whole Joker Sting kind of like persona. It's just so entertaining, so like batshit crazy that was just so funny to watch. And yeah, I think like that's one of my favorite moments with Sting for sure.
Sting has
Joke,
said as
joke.
well that was his favorite gimmick to do, I think, ever. He enjoyed performing the Joker Sting so much because it allowed him to do something a bit different.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was unique. But like you said, it's the character, isn't it? It's
Hmm.
the Crow Sting. Would you say is the
Yeah.
more iconic character, really?
Yeah, that's the most like well known. I've never really got in touch with like the, I guess, is it called
The
surface thing, was it?
Surfer, yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's probably because bit before my time and always we watched it back, but it wasn't bad. Like it wasn't bad with that, but I think he's like he was a good performer. People probably didn't think he'd get to what he did achieve or what he has achieved, shall I say. But when Crow Sting came and how he like took that and just made it his own, and then obviously his matches with like the Great Muta, with Vampiro as well, especially like the clashes of dark gimmicks and weirdness on top of that, and then obviously the NWO stuff and everything. It just clicked and worked, and yeah, and he was off to the races then.
Yeah, it really did. Yeah, he was almost like the babyface, really, of WCW when he was the Crow. He was
Yeah.
often NWO's sort of main opposition.
Hmm.
What about you, Alfonso? What comes to mind when you think of Sting? Is it more recent for you with his WWE and AEW run, or do you?
Yeah, even more
Yeah,
recent for me because I never really saw TNA, to be honest. Like, I was out of wrestling for that period of time when TNA was really, really strong. So I didn't get to know Sting in TNA. I'm too young to get to know Sting in WCW.
Hmm.
And for me, one of the moments that stays with me is his first appearance when he's speaking with Cody Rhodes in AEW and talking about Darby Allen. And I think it's going to be a very nice full
Yeah.
circle match against the Young Bucks. But I'm hoping that if they lose the titles, they do some sort of storyline just to give Darby Allen a push or something like that because I don't think they're winning the titles against the Young Bucks in the last match. Like they're not going to stay champion in the last match, but I'm pretty sure they need to do like a story about him. But yeah, one of the greatest moments of things is losing against Triple H at Mania.
You know what, Alfonso? I'm going to agree with you. I came on just to say that I
what's
felt that Sting's greatest moment came at WrestleMania.
you two have set this up, haven't you? What's Craig has just joined the chat, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. I saw it and I'm like, okay, here we go.
Yeah, he couldn't resist mentioning the fact that Triple H buried Sting at WrestleMania 31.
It was the
Sting's
perfect
only
timing. It was
WrestleMania
the
match.
perfect timing. I'm sorry.
Well, let's be fair. Everybody knows Sting should have won that match. That was awful booking on their part. Triple H should never have gone over. And that's the end of that, really.
I felt it was the last nail in the coffin of WCW, and if anybody was going to bury that, then it would be the greatest.
Yes, because 14 years after their death, we still needed to know that they were dead.
I mean, with the whole thing about Vince coming out, are we that surprised retrospectively now? That he wanted another win over WCW.
There is
Yeah.
that.
I think
He just
I think it's very nice to see a guy, a legend like Sting. Like people don't talk about him, you know. Like he's just a guy that loves pro wrestling.
Yeah.
He did that for all his life. You never hear stories about him having problems with booking or things like that. Like he even was kind of a professional when Jeff Hardy was intoxicated in TNA.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah,
like
that was an infamous
The
moment, wasn't
Victory
it?
yeah,
Road
Victory
incident.
Road 2011, yeah.
but
Yeah.
he was a professional in that match,
Yeah.
and kudos to him. I think if AW does a Hall of Fame, he should be one of the first guys in the Hall of Fame of AW.
I was gonna
And
mention that. I think this would be a perfect chance for them to even start one with Sting. Like it just makes sense if they were going to do that, really.
yeah, like the first class can be Sting and Owen Hart, you know.
Yeah.
And but
Do
yeah,
you
that's
feel
a
that if AEW started a Hall of Fame, that the first member should be Triple H because that company's built on stars that Triple H made in NXT?
I mean, in that case, could have been
Cody.
Antonio Inoki, then, isn't it? I mean, they took pretty much everyone from New Japan, so.
Uh, you all have a good show. I've came on to do what I came on to do, and
We really appreciate it, Craig. Thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure.
as always, and until next time, love you all.
Love you,
Take
No
man.
care,
problem,
Craig.
take care. And that was Craig out of nowhere.
Big Triple H fan, Craig, who had to come on and mention that WrestleMania 31 match. Now, that's a good segue into what I was going to talk about next because WrestleMania 31, That
Mhm.
was the chance to do the ultimate dream match in wrestling, which was Sting versus The Undertaker,
Yeah.
which we never ever had and never ever will have.
Yeah.
So, what do you
I
think?
mean, before we say never, we do have Saudi Arabia
It's
throwing
not
their
gonna happen.
money.
It's not
I
gonna
think,
happen.
like for me, I think it's okay.
Yeah.
I think it's okay to have those dream matches that never come together because
Hmm.
that's what is beautiful about pro wrestling. We're never going to have a Bruno Sammartino against Roman Reigns, but we can
Yeah.
dream about it. That's why
But
they're
we
video
had
games.
both of them on the same show,
Yeah.
wrestling in different matches.
They didn't want to do it. That's the only thing I can think of. Like, if I think Undertaker and Sting, well, Undertaker has so much power that if he really wanted to do a Sting Undertaker match, they would have done a Undertaker Sting match
I think Undertaker was a bit hesitant. He was thinking about his
because,
body. Can he do the match justice at this point?
and I'm
Because I
pretty
think
sure,
Sting
yeah,
was willing. Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure that if they did it, like Sting was supposed to go over, because
Hmm.
at that moment, but against Triple H, you can book all the shenanigans that they booked and have Sting lose. That was a bad decision, but it was
It was.
entertainment nonetheless. Like you could have like all those things going down and still have Sting winning in the end,
Yeah.
but I think what is sad is that we don't know what was
Mhm.
going to happen to Sting after the Seth Rollins match,
Yeah.
you know, because
Hmm.
maybe after that match against Seth Rollins, he not winning the title, what was the next story for him?
Yeah,
Maybe it was
were
Bray Wyatt, maybe it was Undertaker.
were Sting
Yeah.
and Undertaker going to wrestle at WrestleMania 32? That yeah,
Exactly. That's
that's
Yeah.
that's the question, isn't it? He did
Mhm.
suffer that horrible injury where he got power bombed into the corner and
Yeah.
had a stinger, and we thought, no pun intended, and we thought that that was it for Sting. But yeah, he made his epic comeback at Winter is
Mm.
Coming and has done a great job for AEW. I think
Mhm.
he's he's thrown himself at everything. He's thrown himself off everything as well
Yeah.
at the tender age of 64. But he's I think he's done great for Darby Allin's career as well. He's probably taught him a lot.
but that's
Darby's
why
probably learned a lot being alongside him.
Mhm.
I need something else about that last match.
Yeah.
If we only get a match, I'm going to be very sad and disappointed.
Is this
Yeah.
the match you wanted as his last match, Alfonso? Did you want a singles match with Darby Allin?
It's not what I wanted, but it's what he wanted. Because apparently they asked him what kind of match he wanted last, and he said those guys are the ones that he wanted to face. And
This
I,
was his
Mhm.
choice.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
his choice. I think a tag match helps with the gimmicks to the mirrors to fake a good match, from a
Because Sting
60.
Mhm.
doesn't have to be exposed as much in a tag
Exactly.
Yeah.
match. Yeah.
Because, but maybe they're just tricking us. And we're going to have one last match after this one because I think maybe that's what I'm thinking. Like hypothetically, they lose the match, Darby attacks Sting, and then you have one last match, Sting against Darby, like just to.
And then Vampiro comes out, right? And
No,
then it
no, no,
reveals Darby has joined Vampiro.
like what I'm saying, is like it's very difficult to imagine the last match of
Yeah.
of an icon like Sting. Like you wanted him to go on his back in one of the greatest matches, and we're not going to have that. And we
Mm.
didn't have that for Kurt Angle. It was against Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, that was awful.
so many great ones have had poor last matches. Like
Yeah.
imagine,
Especially in the Western, I feel like in the
yeah,
Western wrestling world, yeah,
yeah,
because I feel like Japan do it very right most of the time. Like I would say 80% of the time they get retirement matches pretty spot on.
yeah,
Like, for example, this female wrestler retired last year in November, Saki Aki, I think her name was, and she had a mixed six-man tag match as a final time with the stablemates. And what happened as the match was going around, all the guys said, "Let's step out of the ring, let the two ladies finish it," and that was like a nice like little touch as well. So
That's cool.
Yeah,
and so
like for me,
yeah.
the my dream match for Sting last match
Mhm.
is one-on-one casket match against Darby Allen,
I'm
and
with
Yeah,
you, Alfonso.
that
Yeah, I
would make a
agree.
lot of sense. Or I would say maybe like a more cinematic match if Sting can't do like a
yeah, maybe a
proper
Darby
one, like
Allen
a
cine, but
cinematic casket match. Like,
I'm
what
not
do you call
sure. I'm not sure if
it?
cinematic matches are still a
Mm.
thing in 2024.
I think it could work if you bring it back. Yeah, and speaking of, just like a small tangent, going back to the Undertaker Sting match, I don't remember if like the broken Hardy universe was going on around that time, but if it came earlier in the era of cinematic matches, could we have seen Sting Undertaker earlier at WrestleMania 31 in a cinematic match? Because would Undertaker been willing to do that since it required less like in ring physical work, I guess?
Yeah, like you said, they can smoke and mirrors the match by
Ye-
having it as a cinematic match. Yeah,
Exactly,
and I
because
think that would
yeah,
work for Sting and Darby as well.
yeah,
And that's the match I wanted to see as his last match as
mm,
well. Fair enough, it's his choice, but I wanted a
yeah,
singles match, and Darby made perfect sense. He's been attached to Darby since day one, and you could
mm,
make Darby into a an awesome heel if you wanted to, coming
yeah,
out of that match.
Exactly, exactly. That's
mm,
what I'm thinking. But yeah, like last matches are
yeah,
weird because what's Stone Cold last match is against Kevin Owens at Mania, and it's one awesome, very fun match. You know,
yeah,
at the end, I just want the wrestlers to put an end to their career in the funnest and best way possible. Like Triple H and Batista had one last match together, and they had fun with it. It wasn't the greatest match, but I think they're very happy that that was their last match.
I think didn't Triple H
No,
wrestle
no,
in
no.
Saudi?
I mean Batista, Batista.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, no, no.
okay.
Triple H went to Saudi, the same as Shawn Michaels, and fucked it up all up.
Yeah, because Shawn Michaels fucked up his last match there,
Yeah,
didn't he?
yeah.
He could have just been like, if I'm gonna wrestle in Saudi, give me AJ Styles. Why couldn't they just do that? AJ would have carried him. Come on,
Yeah, but
like,
going back to
yeah,
Sting, I feel
Sting, yeah,
like he had a great run in WCW, especially when he was the Crow, like we said earlier. And
yeah,
I would, I don't know if you guys remember this, but I would call it one of the worst booking decisions in wrestling history. I'm talking about Starcade 1997, where Sting would have the year-long story of being the hero to the evil NWO.
mm,
Hogan was the champion for over a year, and Sting would finally get his hands on Hogan at Starcade, which was like their WrestleMania,
yeah,
and they completely botched the ending of the match where I don't know if you remember Nick Patrick came out and was supposed to fast count Hogan so that Bret Hart could come out, make his WCW debut, and call for the match to be restarted. Now, don't know if it was backstage politicking from Hogan,
Of
but
course it was. Of
Nick
course it
Nick
was.
Patrick made a normal 3 count. Sting lost the match. Bret Hart came out anyway and asked for it to be restarted. And everything just, Sting ended up going on to be the champion after the
yeah,
restart, but everything just fell apart because it made no sense. Why has the
yeah,
match restarted? And if they went with the big babyface clean victory, who knows if WCW would have still been going? They made a lot of awful decisions after that,
yeah,
And I
but I
think
feel like that was the start.
But I think that's the beautiful part about wrestling. That's why we still talk about
mm,
it. And that's why we're going to keep talking about it after the last match of
yeah,
Sting. And I think that's a nice segue to say, like, this has been like a little nice episode remembering Sting. And I think he's going to have like a nice farewell because AW has this sense of respect about legacies. I think like the Inoki legacy, the Owen Hart legacy, they have done that very well. I think so. I'm
Mm.
just hoping that we have like a nice last show for Sting and everything, and like booking decisions and things like that is very nice to see. And legends must feel like they just need to have like these little matches, the little feud, and then go away. And that's what I'm hoping to see also in our special episode tomorrow with talking about The Rock and saying that the decision is to have the main event against Cody and Roman Reigns, and let's not have a Starrcade 1997 again and have Roman Reigns beat Cody just for the Hogan record. But who knows?
Let's hope we don't get a Starrcade 97 booking decision, Alfonso. Yeah. But I think, do we think that the Young Bucks are going to beat Sting and Darby Allin at the pay-per-view?
Yes.
No.
Really?
Only reason potentially I could see is then the titles get vacated and AEW want to do more tournaments. There you go, tournaments for the tag team title. Maybe I could see that. But
I'm with
it's a
Alfonso.
50-50. Yeah, I reckon they will.
I
but,
think they will because
you know,
feel like that's why they put the tag
yeah.
titles on Sting and Darby for the Young Bucks
Mhm.
to take it off them. And
Yeah, it makes sense. It
yeah,
does make
But
sense.
to be honest, for me, like you have only two ways to book Darby after that match. Or you book him as a heel, or that's it
Mhm.
for Darby Allin in AEW.
what you think he has to turn
No,
heel?
Yeah, I think
I
Darby
think
needs something else in his career right now, and I think a heel turn can be awesome for him. But it's very weird because then you have the Malachi Black and all that they're heels, but they're not really doing anything because Malachi doesn't want to book
Mhm.
himself to lose a match or things like that,
Yeah.
and who knows what's going to happen. I'm pretty sure that AEW needs to have a thinner roster,
Mhm.
but that's a discussion for another day.
Yeah. I disagree. I don't think he needs to turn heel, but if he doesn't turn heel, he needs to be pushed into like some sort of like title picture. I feel like as a like to come out of that Sting storyline with like a big momentum. So I don't know if like
The problem
maybe
is that you
after the
have too
Sting.
many people that you want to put in the title picture right now in AEW
Yeah,
because the
it
title
doesn't have to be the world title.
yeah, but the thing is that the
Doesn't have
mid
to be.
card titles doesn't feel as important as they should be
I
because
mean, Eddie Kingston's Triple Crown is up for grabs.
and do you think the title feels important?
I think so.
It
I
doesn't to
think
me.
Eddie's made it feel important.
For me, it hasn't yet. And when I see
Mm.
people like Jay White,
And and
I
see,
ask,
I feel like that's because you haven't watched the New Japan side because Eddie Kingston with the strong towers on his like ninth defense. So
so
altogether, that's like I feel like makes him more significant.
so
But
going back,
AEW probably don't tell us about that. And
Yeah, it's true.
going back
It's
to
true.
Sting, so going back to Sting,
Hmm.
do you think
Yeah,
that he should do like a farewell tour and go back to TNA, have one last match after he last match in AEW?
I don't. Maybe not a match. Maybe an appearance would be nice, but it depends if he wants to do that. I think it would be cool, but I think he probably would have started it by now if he was going to. But it'd be interesting if he goes like has a visit, maybe like make an appearance here and there, like at TNA, maybe like in Japan have like another appearance, like not wrestling wise, but just like maybe just in a special appearance there would be cool. But I don't see Sting doing that. I don't think he will. But
What about you,
who
Alex?
knows?
I mean, who knows? Because
Yeah.
like with one of Sting's greatest career rivals, Ric Flair, who had
Mm.
about 10 retirement matches, even as near as 2 years ago. This is his last
Yeah.
match, and he still might get in the ring again. Who knows? I feel like Sting is a man of his word. He has a lot of respect for the business. I'm not saying Ric Flair doesn't, but Ric
Mm.
Flair's a bit crazy, isn't he? And Sting just
Yeah.
seems like you know, like a man who will stick to his word. I think this is probably going to be it. I would love to see him give back, and I think Sting is all about giving back in terms of giving Darby a massive rub on his way out. I don't think the Young Bucks are going to gain loads from beating Darby and Sting. I feel like Darby maybe kicking the shit out of Sting after the match would do wonders for him, in a heel turn maybe. But I think this will be it for Sting. Yeah. Just really looking forward to the match, and you know, hopefully it all goes smoothly. And
I think he will be involved backstage potentially. I think like he was still like a voice in the locker room.
I'm not think
You know,
so. I
maybe a
think,
producer.
but like in 2-3 years, because I think he needs to rest from all wrestling.
Yeah, he won't be. I mean, I think he could start straight away. It's just he won't be there every week. Like he doesn't have to be there every week. But you know, be in touch with like on the telephone when he is there at like major shows. You know, and people know. Like it seems like an approachable guy. So I think people know how to reach things. So I think it's up to him. I think he will take a break. But I think if he wanted to continue like backstage straight away, I think he could. And yeah, he's not required to be there every week. Well, Osprey won't be there every week when he goes AEW full time. I mean, it's impossible if he's going to live in the UK to be there every week.
I think any promotion would welcome Sting in any kind of role.
Yeah.
If he wanted to do it. Guys, we'll wrap it up there for this episode. And you know, everybody tune into a Revolution and watch Sting's last match. We wish him all the best. Hope everything goes smoothly, like we said. Alfonso and Rohit, thank you so much again, guys.
No worries, and we'll try and do our special WrestleMania odds, I
I'm
guess, or
so
discussion.
excited. I'm so excited because
Yes.
because you have The Rock over there, you have Triple H over there, you have Roman Reigns over there, you have Cody over there, and this morning a guy by the name of CM Punk posted a story saying "Viva Las Vegas." So I think things can get a little bit interesting tonight.
Absolutely. And
What if he's the special guest referee?
Whoa!
we have a lot to talk about tomorrow, so it should be a really fun show. So guys, thank you very much for the time. Everybody, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at One Stop Wrestling. Check out our previous podcast and look out for the one on the WrestleMania main event. We will break all of that down for you. Alfonso, Rohit, thank you so much. We will see you very soon.
Yep. So,
Ciao.
Ciao, everybody.
We call it there, yeah. Ciao.